Hey, Slaycation Squad. Welcome back to the channel where every tale is a spine-chilling journey into the unknown. I'm your host from the Abyss. And tonight, we're diving deep into the shadows of horror. But before we embark on this hair-raising adventure, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a scream. Seriously, you won't want to miss what we have in store for you tonight. The wind whistled through the tall eucalyptus trees as Tristan and Nick stood in the lawyer's office, listening with disbelief to the news that they had inherited their late grandfather's property in the vast and mysterious Australian Outback. It seemed like a cruel twist of fate, for their relationship had been strained and frayed for years. Yet fate had a way of forcing unlikely alliances. And so, against their better judgment, the brothers found themselves embarking on a journey that would forever change their lives. Tristan, tall and wiry, with a perpetual frown etched on his face, was quick to express his desire to sell the property as soon as possible. His eyes gleamed with the anticipation of quick profits, his mind already calculating the figures that would add weight to his bank account. In his mind, this inheritance was nothing more than a bittersweet chance to escape the drudgery of his mundane life and embrace the allure of a fresh start. For him, family ties were nothing more than a hindrance, best left behind like a forgotten photograph. Nick, on the other hand, was more hesitant. His eyes, filled with the weight of responsibility, searched Tristan's face for a flicker of understanding. But Tristan's gaze remained steadfastly fixed on the horizon, as if the weight of their grandfather's legacy meant nothing to him. Nick knew that there was more to this inheritance than met the eye. Their grandfather's friend, Mr. Garvey, had issued a cryptic warning, cautioning them about the ancient legends and the dark past that lurked on the property. Mr. Garvey, a weathered and wise man with sun-kissed skin and deep lines etched upon his face, had recounted tales of mysterious disappearances and unexplained occurrences that haunted the Outback. His voice had trembled with a mix of fear and reverence as he spoke of the legends that had been passed down through generations. He had urged Nick to tread carefully, to respect the land and its enigmatic secrets. While Nick had listened intently and felt an ever-growing unease settle in the pit of his stomach, Tristan had dismissed these stories as mere fairy tales, the ramblings of an old man's troubled mind. But now, as they stood on the threshold of their inheritance, Nick couldn't help but wonder if there was more to this land than met the eye. Perhaps they were about to step into a world where reality and myth intertwined, where ancient spirits held sway over the land, and where their very lives hung by a thread. And so, despite their conflicting desires and simmering tension, the brothers made a pact. They would set aside their differences and venture to the property, to face the truth that awaited them beneath the fiery sun of the Outback. Whether it led to a swift fortune or unearthing the darkest corners of their family's history remained to be seen. But as they made their way towards their ancestral inheritance, their footsteps faltered, for they knew that the land held answers that could either bring them closer together or tear them apart forever. Tristan and Nick pored over the ancient boxes and dusty shelves in their grandfather's study, determined to uncover the family secrets hidden within the confines of his property. The air was heavy with anticipation and the faint scent of old paper as they leafed through weathered journals and delicate letters. As they sifted through the contents of the study, a letter caught Nick's eye. It was addressed to their grandfather and sealed with a faded crimson wax emblem depicting an intricate spiderweb. Nick carefully broke the seal and unfolded the paper, revealing a beautifully penned, handwritten note. "My dearest friend," the letter began, "I write to you in the hope that you will heed my words and prevent an unimaginable disaster from befalling your family and the land you hold dear. There is a darkness that lurks within the depths of your ancestral property, a darkness that has been passed down through generations. Beware the legend, my friend, for it possesses a power that should never be awakened." Nick's heart raced as he read further, his eyes widening with every word. The letter described an ancient Australian legend tied to their family's land, a malevolent force capable of causing immense destruction. It had been whispered amongst their ancestors, a tale of greed and consequences that had plagued their family for centuries. Tristan, sensing the tension, glanced over his brother's shoulder, his eyes narrowing as he absorbed the letter's contents. His skepticism quickly dissolved, replaced by a growing unease. He knew their grandfather had never spoken of any curse or legend before, but he couldn't deny the strange occurrences that had plagued their family throughout the years. Determined to uncover further clues, Tristan and Nick continued their search through the study. Each discovery tightened the grip of the legend on their hearts, hinting at a dark chapter of their family's history they had never known existed. The shelves revealed dusty journals and yellowed photographs, each with its own story to tell. Tristan's hand trembled as he picked up an old photograph depicting their great-grandfather standing proudly beside a group of Aboriginal elders. The photograph was barely recognizable, the colors faded with time, hinting at a hidden significance. Tristan traced the faces with his finger, feeling a connection to the past that stirred within his soul. In a hidden drawer, Nick uncovered a leather-bound journal with a worn cover. Its pages were filled with cryptic symbols and sketches, evoking a sense of mystery and ancient power. The more they delved into the journal's contents, the more they realized how deeply intertwined their family was with the legend. Hours turned into days as Tristan and Nick immersed themselves in their family's hidden history. The study became their sanctuary, a portal into a world where secrets and legends held sway. The brothers would debate, piecing together the fragments of information they came across, slowly assembling the puzzle that lay before them. But as they ventured deeper into the shadows of their family's past, their relationship began to fray. Diverging views on the significance of the legend and what to do with the property ignited fierce debates, each brother clinging tightly to their beliefs. Suspicion tainted their interactions, their once unbreakable bond cracking under the strain. with each passing day. Tension grew like an invisible storm cloud, casting an oppressive shadow over their search for answers. The weight of the legend's presence bore heavily upon them, threatening to tear them apart even as their discoveries brought them closer to the truth. Unbeknownst to Tristan and Nick, their journey to uncover the family secrets was only beginning. Dark forces lurked around them, observing their every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The legend remained dormant, biding its time until the brothers' resolve wavered and its power could be unleashed once more. Little did they know that their search for answers would not only affect their family's past but also shape their own futures. As they embarked on this treacherous path, they would soon come to realize that their fates were bound to the land, forever entwined with the legacy of their ancestors. The harsh outback sun beats down on Tristan and Nick as they stand, facing each other, in the middle of their inheritance. A tense silence hangs in the air, heavy with the weight of their disagreement. Tristan's eyes burn with determination, his jaw set firmly as he pleads his case. "Nick, we can't afford to hold on to this property. It's in the middle of nowhere, and we could make a fortune selling it. We have our own lives to live." Nick, on the other hand, crosses his arms over his chest, his face etched with concern. "You're missing the point, Tristan. This land has a story, a history. Remember what Mr. Garvey said? He warned us, told us there's something more to this place. We can't just ignore that." Tristan scoffs, his skepticism oozing from every pore. "Oh please, Nick. You really expect me to believe in some ghost story? It's just a property, nothing more. We've got bills to pay, responsibilities to take care of. We can't afford to waste our time on some silly superstition." Nick's eyes narrow, his voice tinged with a mix of frustration and desperation. "It's not a superstition, Tristan. Our family's been tied to this land for generations. Don't you feel any obligation to understand our past, to honor our ancestors?" Their voices rise, the tension escalating with each word. Anya and BJ, their friends who had joined them at the property, exchange worried glances as they watch the brothers clash. Anya, her voice calm but tinged with concern, steps forward. "Guys, maybe we should take a step back and think about this. Perhaps there's a middle ground, a compromise we can all come to." But Tristan and Nick are too engrossed in their heated argument to pay heed to Anya's suggestion. Their voices reverberate off the red dirt walls surrounding them, carrying their grievances out into the vast expanse of the outback. Tristan's voice rises to a crescendo as he makes his final plea. "We have a chance to start fresh, to escape this dead-end life we've been leading. Selling this property is our ticket to a brighter future. Don't you want that, Nick?" Nick's face contorts with a mixture of anger and sadness. His voice, though quieter now, holds a firm resolve. "I can't ignore a warning from Mr. Garvey, Tristan. He's known our family for years, and he wouldn't say something like this lightly. There's more to this place. and we need to understand it before we make any rash decisions. A tense silence envelopes the group once more, the weight of their disagreement hanging in the air like a dense fog. The ancient spirits of the Outback seem to observe, their presence felt in every gust of wind that swirls around them. Tristan rubs his temples, a sign of exhaustion and frustration. He takes a deep breath, his voice softening. Look, Nick, I understand that you feel strongly about this, but we can't let this land control our lives. It's time to move on, to let go of the past. Nick's face falls, disappointment etched in every line. I never thought I'd see the day when you turn your back on who we are, on our own blood. This land is a part of us, and abandoning it is abandoning ourselves. Their eyes lock for a moment, a silent battle of wills playing out between them. But then, Nick turns away, his shoulders slumping in defeat. He walks back to the house, leaving Tristan behind, unsure of what their future holds. Tristan watches his brothers retreating back, a pang of guilt and regret settling in his chest. He knows that this disagreement has driven a deeper wedge between them, and he wonders if they will ever find their way back to each other. As the hot Outback sun begins its descent, casting long shadows over the vast property, the brothers are left to ponder the rift that now separates them. The land, seemingly untouched by their conflict, waits patiently for its fate to be decided. And in that silence, a whisper of the ancient legend shivers through the air, reminding them of the untold secrets yet to be uncovered.